I'm Scott Munn, along with Tug Cowart at the Warrior Line Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. Today on the Spotlight, we'll discuss Georgia Military College in Milledgeville, Georgia, which is a key community partner of the Warrior Alliance. Since 1879, GMC has been transforming cadets and students into servant leaders and engaged citizens. And today we'll meet Miss Kate Pope, the Assistant Vice President of External Relations at Georgia Military College. Miss Pope is an important advocate. She drives initiatives and partnerships to support military service members and their families, especially with the Georgia National Guard and military spouses. Kate is a proud American, serving on the home front by helping military-connected families pursue happiness and find their very best lives. Kate Pope with the Georgia Military College, welcome to the Warrior Alliance Network.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. You made me sound more important than I really am.
Oh, you're
super
important.
About. Come on now.
We only have important guests.
That's right. That's it.
Love to have you here.
The most important of guests come on this show for sure. Passion for the military, I assume. And how did that lead to a career at Georgia Military College?
Very unexpectedly.
Okay.
So,
all right. I like it.
Be real candid. So, first of all, my only affiliation with the military, my grandparents, I had family members that were in the military. And I grew up hearing about the Korean War. And it just seemed something that happened, something long ago.
Sure.
And that I just couldn't
Ancient
really.
history almost.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank goodness. And so didn't have a whole lot of local experience with the military, and went to Milledgeville, Georgia. And I don't know if you know about Milledgeville. We call it Millie Vegas.
That's
Very
right.
small town, but full of community spirit, a lot of fun.
Millie Vegas.
Millie Vegas. And I came down there to go to school to Georgia College and State University, got both my degrees there, and then worked there for 11 years. Had an awesome experience. And then I had the opportunity to go to a community college across town called Georgia Military College. And at first, I went there because a lot of people don't know this. There's a K through 12 prep school. And so my children were going over there. And I said, well, you know what? I told my husband, this is a good opportunity for me to go see what this place is about. And so I went there. And I remember when I was interviewed, I said, so I'm not military. I support the military. Do I have to wear a uniform? And they said, is that a deal breaker? And I said, possibly. And they said, no, ma'am, you're good to go. So I wear my cheetah print.
But just wide open down there.
Hey, they let me be me. But it's just been an amazing experience. I'd never been around military. And we have a ton of retired faculty that are, they go from officers to enlisted. So we have, well, first of all, we're run by a 3-star general, Lieutenant General William Caldwell IV. So pretty,
well, that's a name there.
Pretty amazing. And then we have several colonels and master sergeants. And I just never been around this environment before. And what just struck me, well, first of all, the discipline that they all have, and the terminology was so new to me. IPR, AAR, V/R, very respectfully. That one took a Google. But overall,
they didn't give you a cheat sheet or nothing?
Well, I had a couple buddies that helped me out.
There you go. It's your crib notes.
But absolutely. But what struck me most of all was that everyone was there for the same reasons. They believed in our country. They believed in educating the youth to value our country and to serve our country. And it just really fit with my family's morals and what we believe in. And it was just refreshing. So not only do my kids go to a school where, first of all, we say a prayer in the morning. The kids have formation in the morning. We have military parades. But everything is about duty, honor, and love of country. And you just don't find that in a lot of educational institutions, especially in higher education.
Holy cow.
So it's really been a unique fit for us, and we're just thankful that we say that we're all in at GMC. That means our children go there. It means we work there. We give back to GMC. It's our whole life. It's our whole world, and it is for so many of us.
That's awesome. That's the most compelling opening I think I've ever heard in all the shows that we've done.
Yeah,
just
you're really living it.
That passion for our men and women in uniform, our veterans, and people that will eventually be the fighting force of this great nation. So, what do you do as the assistant VP of external relations? Because I mean, that's like the general that you talked about. Man, that's a mouthful too.
That's the fun part. It's every day's different, and I know people say that.
How could that be?
Genuinely is. And what's unique about Georgia Military College? First of all, there's very little bureaucracy, and that's pretty unique. It gives us a lot of freedom. So when I first came to Georgia Military College, I was in charge of enrollment for our main campus. And so that's one thing. What is GMC? Who are we? What do we look like? And that's something to touch upon, first of all. So founded in 1879 in our Milledgeville campus, our main campus. That is the heart of the institution. That's where we have our Corps cadets, also our prep school, and also our community college for the Middle Georgia region. We also have 8 satellite locations, college locations.
Did you say 8?
8.
8, okay.
Yes, sir. So they're all around the state, really next to military bases. So think Columbus, Augusta, Warner Robins. And then we also have our online leadership college. But anyway, so I first came to main campus, worked in enrollment, loved it. But one thing I was really passionate about was higher education's changed so much. There's an uncollege movement, people that don't always value the liberal arts, but we sought out different populations that we could truly benefit. And what I discovered, and that's when I then moved into our online college, there was really a pathway for us to help military and veterans, and even more specifically, spouses and dependents. And that's something, and I would attribute this to our president. Literally, this is in the DNA of our president and in our college, is that everything we do, it goes back to how can we support our heroes, which are military, which are the families of military. So what do? Basically, I'm a connector of smart people to smart people.
Okay.
All right. So
I've never been accused of that.
I connect.
Right.
But now I find different populations, and these could be businesses that have tuition assistance. It could be an organization like the Warrior Alliance, and we facilitate how can we make education attainable, achievable, and just really help populations that can benefit from it. And with our students, we're a very disparate organization. Our community colleges are really set up to help your traditional first-time freshmen. Okay. Now, our online college, that's really set up for active duty, working adults. In fact, our average student is mid-30s. They're usually employed, and they're wanting to obtain a Bachelor of Applied Science degree. I'll touch upon that later, but they obtain a bachelor's degree so that they can move up in the workforce. And these bachelor's degrees were actually built for military. All right, so how are they built for military? First of all, they're Bachelors of Applied Science degrees. What that means, that applied science block is where we are able to bring in technical training, military training, law enforcement training, credits directly in to this block so that people are able to achieve a bachelor's degree sometimes in as little as 3 years.
Wow.
So they're built for speed. They're built for maximum credit transfer, and they're built just to get out of the student's way, if that makes any sense. So what do we mean by that? It's all about the experience for the student. With military and with working adults, they do not have time to often do the traditional approach. All right, they don't have time to go to a registrar. They don't have time to then be passed off to financial aid. That just the logistics themselves are just onerous in higher education. We do it differently. It's called the coaching model. Essentially, each student is paired with an enrollment coach who helps them apply and helps them register for classes, fill out the FAFSA, and then they are then given to a graduation coach. And that person follows them through graduation. So a student is only working with 2 staff people. So instead of being passed off to an academic advisor, financial aid counselor, we make it very streamlined, very easy. Military and working adults do not have time for the logistics of higher education. The business needs to be the class itself.
It's I mean, what a great setup, and clearly so much different than what my son as a college student is doing, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's just, you got the great campus down there too. That's the thing that you're not mentioning that you should be bragging on. I love it. I spent a lot of time in Milledgeville, and I love it down there. And I went just walking around campus one time just to check it out, and you can feel the history when you walk around. There's great monuments and memorials to visit. People should just come check that out, regardless if you got a college-age kid or not, and just enjoy that campus. And you know, being founded in 1879, and I think it's the 10th oldest military academy in the nation. That's what I looked up anyway. So it's a historical education landmark in our state, and it's developed a lot of great military and civilian leaders. Can you tell us some of the more famous or renowned leaders that have attended GMC?
Absolutely. And just touch upon the history, it truly is beautiful. In fact, it was the State House, the antebellum capital of Georgia. And so we actually have a lot of our ceremonies in the legislative chambers. So there's just a lot of historical ties that just infiltrate everything that we do. But when it comes to, you know, renowned or famous alumni, it really runs the gamut. And I'll start with my favorite, which would be Oliver Hardy. So the comedians, Laurel and Hardy. But then it goes to actually a lot of different politicians. And I think that's because at GMC, we're all about service. And so that's really what differentiates us. We are a leadership institute where our focus is servant leadership. So we find that a lot of our alumni, they either serve in the military, they serve in law enforcement, like Nikki Renfro, who was a retired captain with the Georgia State Patrol, or they work in politics, such as Culver Kidd Jr. was in the House and Senate. We also have the Honorable Beth Camp, House Representative, and Major General Bobby Christine, former U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Georgia. So we have a lot of servant-hearted leaders, but we also have a lot of people that lead not just at the Capitol, but on the field. So on the athletic field, such as Trent Brown, Isaac Butts. We have over 50 athletes that have gone to play in the NFL.
Wow.
So unusual about our main campus is essentially we run like a little university. We have a very strong fine arts program and also a lot of different athletics that our students can join. Football team, rifle, you name it. So really, when it comes to Georgia Military College, you can choose college your way. If you're looking for a more traditional experience, you come to our main campus. If say you're out in Atlanta and other parts of the state or in Augusta, you want to take a few classes, you really want to get your feet under you so that you can transfer to a different USG institution, that's what our community college is for. And our online college is for that student, that usually working adult or military service member who is looking for flexibility. And how we're flexible, we have asynchronous learning in our online college. What's that? That's where you do not have to zoom in at a certain time. These are 8-week modules, and you're given a week to complete your work. And this really, we find for parents especially, this is really one of the only ways they can do college. They can't log in to a class at 6 o'clock when they're watching their child out on the soccer field. So for a lot of our people, this is the only way they can do college.
Man, it sounds great, I can't believe the Laurel and Hardy guys are.
That's amazing.
One of them went to military school.
If you would have given me $1 million to guess that one, I couldn't have guessed it.
And that's only in Milledgeville.
That's right. There we go.
You were telling me before the show you can either be in the Corps of Cadets or you can be a student, like a traditional student, but you have a unique military-style program in that Corps of Cadets. And what happens to students that do graduate from that Corps of Cadets? Do they go right into the military, or what are their options?
Well, there's many options. And so first of all, you've hit on a good point. We are Georgia Military College. However, out of our 11,000 student population around the state, less than 3% of our students are military. But what we keep, it goes back to our mission, okay? So most of our people are not military, but we all go back to our mission, and I'll read it to you. It really, every decision we make and the president makes, we go back to our mission statement to make sure that we're really in line with who we say we are. But our mission is Georgia Military College builds on our military heritage, grounded in our core values of duty, honor, and love of country, to provide hope and opportunity through individual growth and education of our students, to develop their intellect and character as authentic servant leaders, in an environment focused on elevating civility and respect for others. And I want to point out, of course, servant leaders, that's what we grow. That's really what we do with our students. And the part about elevating civility and respect, as a higher education institution, we are not political, but we do believe that everything can be addressed respectfully and civilly. In fact, we encourage our students in the classroom and online to disagree, but to disagree with civility and respect.
Okay.
There you go.
Look, it's hard to argue.
Right.
I
That
wish,
would be nice around the world if we could do that, right?
Good heavens. Or just in the United States even. I mean, it just, I was watching a PBS documentary about Ronald Reagan, and it was the civility behind the scenes of people negotiating. And then ultimately, I don't remember what it was, but Reagan had won this, this political victory, and he signed the bill that he wanted signed. And the Democrat opposition called him up, and he was like, man, fought a great fight. I wish it had gone our way. It didn't. We wish you nothing but the best and success for the country. And I was just like, what is that?
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound like, that sounds like make-believe. That didn't sound real.
That's how America should be.
That's the way it should be. You're exactly right.
Absolutely.
You're exactly right. So as a guy that served in the Navy, I've heard that y'all can help active duty service members transfer their military career into Georgia Military College course credits. How's that work?
Very well, actually. So that's it. These bachelors, it's really through our Bachelors of Applied Science degrees. These were built for the military, and so it benefits not only our military, but we have a lot of students that come from technical colleges, and they have a lot of great skills that they learn in a technical college. Well, with our Bachelors of Applied Science degree, they're able to transfer in those credits and then quickly go on to a 4-year degree. And our 4-year degrees are really they're in the management lens. And so these are not esoteric, theoretical degrees. These are real, so they're good for some people and not so much for others. So let me give you an example. If you want to be a philosopher, or you want to study philosophy, become a philosophy professor, you want to get your core with us and then transfer on to a different institution. But say you are working and currently working, and you are looking to move up in a leadership role, that's what our bachelor's degrees are intended for. And so of course, our online college is really the arm that really helps our military population, specifically our National Guard. We are able to utilize their service cancelable loan online. And so that's a big deal. And one part I didn't touch upon was our Corps cadets, the heart of our institution. And so there's several different paths with our Corps cadets. We have a service academy, we have a civilian program, and one of our most famous ones is our ECP, our ROTC Early Commissioning Program. And we're one of 4 colleges in the United States that Congress has authorized to do this. Essentially, you have to be between 17 to 23 years of age, but through our program, you commission as a second lieutenant in 2 years.
Well, there you go. Wow, that's a better pay grade.
I got to tell you, man, if you're going in, that's the way to go in right there.
Absolutely.
Goodness. I went in as an old E1. That's not the way to ride. If you can get around it, don't go that way.
Well, growing up on Army bases or Army posts, I'll tell you, you want to live in officer housing if you
yes,
can.
Sir. Yes, sir. Amen.
We got so many things we want to talk to you about and only a few minutes left, so let's blow through a few of these other topics here. Let's talk about the important challenges that veterans face when they're coming out of the military, the transition to civilian life. It's something that we really focus on at the Warrior Alliance and here on the network. How does GMC support veterans that are transitioning? I know this is an area that you're extremely passionate about.
Absolutely. And so, but one thing I want to make sure is I don't assume I know what the problems are, right? They're different for every family, and they're the ones living it. So one thing that we do very well at GMC is, first of all, we have a culture of care. We know students, especially military, cannot be successful unless they have housing, they have the legal services, they're not having any food insecurity. And so that's why partnerships such as the Warrior Alliance are so invaluable to us. We know where we can help, and there's also areas we can't help. And that's where it's important for us to have partners, credible partners that we feel comfortable basically recommending our students reach out to, because they can't be successful in the classroom unless they have the wraparound support. But what we do as best as possible is, first of all, we want to build up the confidence of that student. So with the military and all of our students, a lot of times they're older in life. They're like, oh my gosh, I haven't done math in 20 years. Well, that's why we're there, and we have different classes to help build up those skills so that they can be successful at doing college. So being successful at college. Another thing we really pride ourselves on is we don't want to waste anyone's time, especially military. So first of all, we're going to bring in as many credits as possible, and we have specific military enrollment coaches that are really well trained in maximizing credits. We also don't want to waste any money, especially when it comes to military. So what we do is, first of all, those military coaches are really well versed in using all the different military benefits. And so one thing that we did notice is that spouses and dependents oftentimes would kind of run out of funding when it came to trying to obtain their higher education degree. And so President Caldwell, especially passionate about families, and he created the Military Family Member and Family Scholarship, and that's just gap funding. So once the military benefits run out, we have that gap funding scholarship for spouses and dependents.
Wow. That's a lot. That's great.
Yeah,
That's
man.
great support for military
Absolutely.
families right there.
You can appreciate that being an Army brat.
I mean, it's a lot of times that you leave the family out completely, and it's just focused on the veterans. But that's changing in our world because of people like the folks at GMC and the Warrior Alliance. And folks, we're talking to Kate Pope, assistant VP of External Relations at Georgia Military College. Check them out at gmc.edu. That's gmc.edu. And of course, go to thewarrioralliance.org as always to sign up, and also to connect with GMC there as well. And let's talk about that. You're now partners with the Warrior Alliance. Georgia Military College is a partner now, an official one. Tell us how that came about and how the collaboration is supporting GMC's goals.
Well, like so many things in life, it came about by happenstance. Jared, who worked for the Warrior Alliance, happened to be on our campus, our main campus, visiting a friend, and we have a beautiful campus, so every chance I get, I walk the campus, and I ran into him, and he mentioned that he was from the Warrior Alliance, and I'd seen the Warrior Alliance online, and I said, and I did not play it cool at all, but I was just like, oh, we know who you are, and we really want to be a part of it. Hey, we're friends now, and and he was like very receptive, and he said, well, let me learn more about you guys, and so it just rolled out with a series of visits, but like I said, we know where we can help our students and we know where we can't. And we saw needs that we could not assist with. So by partnering with the Warrior Alliance, we're able to help our students be successful.
Love that. Hey, final thought here. Do you have any advice for individuals or parents who are seeking leadership development as part of their college experience for the folks down at GMC, especially, to go there as a student? Because, I got a kid in college. May need to direct him y'all's way. Who knows? You can't ever tell.
Absolutely. I'll give him a scholarship.
Wait. Now, hold on. You got a baseball team down there?
We do.
Because Tug's son, Jacob, plays baseball, college baseball. We might need to talk about this.
Telling you.
Let's see what we can do.
Okay.
But yeah, so we are a leadership institute, and it permeates everything that we do. It's in our DNA. So even from our K through 12 prep school, our community college, and online, leadership is embedded in everything. Mm-hmm. How does that work online, for example? Well, say you're in a world history class, world civ class online, and what the professors do, they will assign the work that has the tenet of leadership to study in it. For example, if you're in a world civ class, an essay assignment could be identify a good leader in history, identify a poor leader in history. What are their traits? Because when it comes to studying leadership, it's just as useful to know what poor leadership is as it is to see what good leadership is. So leadership, and that's one thing. We know that not everyone is going to become a CEO of an organization, but we want all of our students to be leaders in their own lives. You have to lead yourself first before you can lead others. And that may be leading in a Sunday school class, could be leading as a parent. What we believe that we enable our students to lead themselves, and that really affects the community in the best of ways.
I love it. Kate is a devoted wife to Jonathan, mother of Sydney and Jack, and makes time to serve on the Milledgeville Baldwin County Board of Directors. And you were recently named of the 20 under 40 outstanding community members. Congratulations.
My favorite part?
Yeah.
Under 40.
Yes, that's right.
Really close. Really
Just
close.
Stay there as long as you can. Let me
yeah.
tell you, I'm creeping on the other end. And my birthday's this month too. It's not good.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you early. But congratulations. Thank you for what you do. And thank you for caring so much about your community, our military members and veterans, just people in general. And you exude that. You can see that you genuinely care. And
Probably comes from being the mama like that,
I would
right?
imagine.
All those kids.
I would
huh?
imagine. Yeah, absolutely.
And Jonathan's from down there in Milledgeville, you're telling me.
Yes,
Okay.
John's a local, born and bred. And
What about you? Where are you from?
From Gwinnett.
Okay.
So I'm a transplant. I
Got
do
it.
have a twang. It's from being
I can
in
hear
Mil-
it.
I know.
It's beautiful. No, it's perfect. Oh, my gosh.
That's from my husband.
Yeah, God bless him.
Been there about 20 years. But yeah, so John really is an integral part of the community. His great uncle started a local bank there before the Depression, and he truly, in fact, he's a GMC alum.
Okay.
There you go.
And he's on the alumni board, and he truly shows what it is to be a community leader. He coaches the kids' soccer. He's involved in Exchange Club.
That's cool.
But he truly is passionate about our community. And I'm not from a small town, so I've learned a lot from him about the good about being in a small community. It is relationships.
I love small towns.
It sounds like you got a great family. You got a great family environment down there in that town in Milledgeville, but also a great family at GMC. And we want to welcome you to the Warrior Alliance family. So thanks for being a part of the Warrior Alliance.
Thankful to be here.
There you go. That'll do it for us. Kate Pope, Assistant Vice President of External Relations at Georgia Military College. For Scott Munn, I'm Tug Cowart. This is the Warrior Alliance Spotlight.